I received a call around 9 o'clock, 9:30 Christmas morning from a gentleman who was kind of in an upset state, who right away told me that he was frustrated and just upset with how his life was going.
When the 211 specialist picks up the phone, they never ever know what the person on the other end of the line is going to need, which makes it interesting to work here, but incredibly stressful as well.
I did offer for him to call back and talk to us about other things that could help him and his family, but at that point I released the call to Aspire due to confidentiality, and he was in good hands.
So from that original call from 211, we linked the family up with the number of resources in Hamilton County, one of those being Good Samaritan.
On Christmas Day, we received a call at 9:30 in the morning. I was at Christmas breakfast with family. I was very concerned because they had two children, 3 and 7, and both of the children did not have Christmas gifts that morning.
So here his kids come down the stairs, realize there's nothing under the tree. Santa didn't come this year.
They didn't have any money to buy anything for their children for Christmas, and come to find out they didn't even really have enough money to buy gas for him to go look for a job.
It was Christmas and no holiday gifts and things that we normally surround our holidays with, so that was bothering him, with the family and children and things like that being in the home.
And the kids were deeply upset, and the father talked to them and said, Santa Claus will come. I just don't know when. It may not be today, but he will come.
We had the day before readied gifts for families, and we're not able to locate one of the families. So we delivered those to Nancy instead and said, just in case something, they should contact you. Here are the gifts.
I went to the car because the night before, Dee Riccardi had sent a gentleman to bring me toys on Christmas Eve in case I needed them, because the family that they had served was no longer to be found, and she didn't want the toys to just sit through the holiday.
I didn't know exactly what was in the packages. I just knew that that family wasn't able to be found, and we dropped them off with Nancy knowing they were in good hands.
And it just so happened that this family had a boy and a girl, and these toys actually matched up to their age.
Truly, the grace of God that this woman, Nancy, had these toys a perfect, appropriate age for these kids.
I went home and got my husband and told him what had happened. He had been real ill and had been bedridden on that day.
But then she added one thing, and the neighbor had said that the husband was quite depressed. And that cut me like a knife, because I've been through chronic depression, and I don't want anybody to ever have to experience that. So I told Nancy, I said, I'm going with you. And she goes, why? I said, because I'm going to take a check.
And so we did go, and my husband had me get out and take the gift to the door, and I gave it to the wife, and the husband came around.
Well, Nancy wasn't in the house very long, and out come the husband in his pajamas, and he came up to me, and with tears in his eyes, he hugged me and said thank you, and he went back in the house.
We kind of parted there and got back in the car, and they actually saw us standing up in the driveway, and they could see us through the different houses as they were coming home. And the kids jumped out of the car and said, I know it was Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. They've been here. And they ran in the house, and they found the gifts under the tree, excited, told their parents that Santa really had come.
Santa came!
And the husband said, yes, Santa really did come. And then a few minutes later, we got a phone call in the car as we were driving back home.
And Nancy's cell phone rang, and it was the husband, and he was literally bawling and thanking us.
And he said, tell your husband thank you very much for what he did for me today. It meant so much, and it's going to help me so much to get caught up. And he just thanked us and thanked us for the gifts and what all had happened that day. He said truly it was a Christmas miracle.
The gentleman was able to get services for his depression. It's my understanding the family's now back on their feet. He's working. Everything just came together like clockwork.
And I told Nancy after she hung up, I said, you know, he thinks that he got blessed, but you and I got blessed more than he did by far. So it is always better to give than to receive.